Well, hey there, happy innovators. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well. A couple weeks ago, I decided that I wanted to start doing some album descriptions for some of the records, or the collections of music, I should say, that I've released in the past. I did some descriptions for PC3 Clouds, Ad Astra 1, 2, and 3, but, I never did a description for the Pipe Choir debut and the Escons project and, now the Wrench in the Rubicon and the Last Major Sin, like all those things that I've released I never really had a chance to talk about. So the net result, is that I wind up going back through my, files and my, my vault, of different versions of different songs and different attempts at different ideas. And it's really kind of cool to do because what I'm finding is a lot of material that I don't remember and a lot of things I don't remember doing. And so I wanted to mention that. That's why I haven't been doing a podcast or anything lately. Well, I have been working on new music as well, but I'm really kind of like, taking my time trying to make these album descriptions like, pretty good. I want to make them comprehensive and, complete, telling the whole story of the record and everything, that kind of thing, But I'm finding these treasures, from the past, and I'll talk more about that later at the end of the podcast. But of course, I've heard the news, and I'm sure you have by now too, the passing of Taylor Hawkins. I would be remiss if I didn't at least mention that in this podcast today. And, I feel really bad that Taylor Hawkins is not here anymore. He's not going to be making any more songs or making any more records or touring anymore or anything. He was a pretty remarkable drummer. And, while I may not be an expert on drumming, I would consider myself to be, an educated opinion. I've been drumming since I was like 5 years old, and I never stopped. I'm going to be 51 pretty soon. So that's a long time, to have experience with anything. And it's a long time to have any experience with drumming, So I have my opinions about him. And, honestly and truly, everything I'm about to say is really only my opinion. That's all it is. But in my experience as a drummer, there are kind of like two kinds of styles of playing. Not so much style as in like whether you play jazz or rock and roll or something like that. It's more kind of like where your playing is coming from, like as an individual. And, I'm going to try to explain this thinking as best I can, but it is pretty difficult because it's pretty abstract and it's pretty minor, or at least it seems to be minor, but it's really not, because it's really the whole ball game when it comes to playing the drums, at least in my opinion. Now, there are some drummers that, like, when they play, their attitude is kind of like turned outward, They're sitting behind the instrument, they're playing, they're doing their thing, but they're coming from a place where they're aware that there is an audience in front of them, and that's apparent. You'll see these guys, twirling their drumsticks, doing acrobatics and doing things that are visual to appeal to the people that are watching, like in order to get their attention or to impress them or something like that. And that's cool. That's great. There are a lot of players, especially now, I'm noticing with a lot of the younger drummers, that's pretty common to see them doing that kind of stuff, twirling their drumsticks, like hot dogging it, so that the audience will be impressed or wowed, okay? But there's another school of drummer where they're turned inward, okay? Do you follow me? Like, they're aware that there's an audience there, but they're playing, like, in the song. And they're not really paying attention, really, to what is happening outside of that circle or that bubble that they're in behind their drum set. And for me personally, I've always been more like drawn to drummers that were like that, as opposed to the guys who are like twirling their sticks and hot dogging it, like trying to impress the people that are watching. Okay, it's like I kind of appreciate more the kind of player that turns inward and is like losing themselves in the song, and they're not really almost aware that there's an audience there. Like they're like, and the reason I'm talking about this, okay, so it probably sounds like I'm going nowhere with this point, but Taylor Hawkins from the Foo Fighters was one of those drummers that, at least in my opinion, turned inward when he was drumming. He was an energetic drummer, and he had a lot of chops, and he had a lot of energy and a lot of passion in his playing, but he wasn't really, from my point of view, he wasn't really playing to the audience. He was playing inside of the song and losing himself in the song. And of all the things I could say about Taylor Hawkins, that's probably like the biggest compliment that I could give him. It's not something to be taken lightly, especially if you're a musician that's deciding to take on music professionally. Like, you might be young right now, but you've got to make the decision when you're young. And I'm here to tell you, if you are, good luck. That's great. And bear that in mind, what I just said. There's like two different kinds of, not just drummers, I guess, but performers. A good example of what I'm saying, because this is a pretty difficult thing to really grasp, I think, what I'm trying to convey or try to explain. There's a concert performance on a show called Live with Jools Holland, and Bjork was the guest on this show, and it was a great show. Basically, I guess the setup of the show was they would have this big, huge sound stage, and they would have different performers, different groups and stuff like that set up in a circle in the studio, and then the camera crew would go from group to group, like station to station, and they would film, these bands playing a couple of their songs, and it was fantastic. But my point is, on this one episode of Live with Jools Holland, he has Bjork as a guest on his show, and she does this performance where you can type it in, to YouTube, Live with Jools Holland, Bjork. But it's the one where she's wearing the green dress. I forget the name of the song offhand, which one she's doing, but I do remember watching her performance, and it was like exactly what I'm talking about here, where you can see in Bjork's performance that she's not really aware of the audience or the camera. She's not performing to the camera or to the audience. She's performing her song, and she's singing like with so much intensity, but like she's either got her eyes closed or she's staring off into space while she's singing. And that's exactly what I'm trying to convey to you here. This idea of the difference between performers that are like outward or performers that are inward with their performance. and to me, I could be wrong because I don't know Taylor Hawkins, or I didn't know him or anything personally, but by watching him play and studying how he played, I kind of got that impression, that he may have been one of the only rock drummers to get to the level he was at that was really kind of doing it that way. And I think that that's worth mentioning. I may be the only person who, in retrospect, will say anything like that about him. And I can honestly say I wasn't a huge fan all the time of everything that Taylor Hawkins did or that the Foo Fighters did, but I liked a lot of what they did. And, I really do feel that it's a great loss. I mean, they're going to say that about every person who dies and every famous musician that dies, but I got to tell you, from my point of view, which probably means nothing, but you had Neil Peart, you had Eddie Van Halen, and now Taylor Hawkins joins the ranks. It's just we really lost something, folks. And to have it happen so unexpectedly and so quickly and everything. And, I'm hearing these reports about, they are making the claim that he might have overdosed on drugs or something like that. And, of course, nobody knows for sure, but my best guess is that's not going to be true. That in the future we're going to find out that it was really natural causes. Or maybe some other thing, but it wasn't an overdose on heroin or something like that. In my opinion, okay? In my professional opinion, there's no way that Taylor Hawkins could be drumming on that level for that long and have a really bad drug problem. I'm sorry, I don't believe it. I think that you have to take care of your body. If you're going to do something like that, if you're going to commit to world tours like that and to be doing that, people just don't have any grasp or any concept, or most people anyway don't have any grasp or concept of like how difficult it is to drum, like physically. It's not difficult to do a song behind a drum set. It's not difficult even to do 5 songs, okay? But to do 10 songs, 20 songs, 30 songs, or whatever it is every night for like a year, you have to be in pristine physical condition to be able to keep up with that. And I'm speaking from experience, okay? It's so difficult to do. And it's not like, going to a Foo Fighters concert was like going to an Ace of Base concert. It's like these guys were like full tilt boogie, like hitting hard. Their music was is slamming. So for Taylor Hawkins to be behind that drum kit doing that kind of thing for that long, that often, and to be doing it that well and on that level, no, I'm sorry, I just don't believe it. I will be totally stunned, totally shocked to have it confirmed that Taylor Hawkins overdosed. I just don't believe it. I'm going to have to be convinced that that's what's happened. But nevertheless, regardless of any of that or whatever, it is particularly sad. And honestly, I gotta tell you, maybe you'll agree with me on this, like in your own life, but I've noticed maybe over the past 6 months, maybe a little bit longer, 6, 7, probably about 6 or 8 months, there is so much unexpected death and disease and illness happening around me with people that I know and with people that I love and people that I care about. It's just kind of, well, at first it seemed okay, I'm getting older, this is going to happen. I've passed a certain age and it's to be expected. you know, that, some of the people I know are going to start dying. Like, that's going to happen. We're getting older. But that's not it. That's not it, because my experience is that it's not really people that are just my age, you know. And a lot of people around me, more than ever before in my life, are slipping away or getting really sick, you know. I'm not quite sure why that is. I have my suspicions. It seems to be abnormal or unnatural. It does seem that way to me. It just is such a bummer, you know. I got people all around me like that. Don't quite know what to make of it, but I'm sure that, you know, between you and I, right now listening to this podcast, we have our suspicions, I'm sure. It's not just age. You know, there's something weird afoot. I don't know if it's... I don't know what the cause is. I don't know. But do you feel that way too? Are you guys noticing that too? Or am I the only one? Is it just in my mind? You know? Yeah, I just recently lost my aunt, the one who had given me that guitar. You know, I talked about in the past, the one who had a piano at her house, and she would encourage me to play the piano and all that. Well, yeah, she slipped away. She's gone. She died. And just a couple of weeks ago. And life is sad sometimes, you know? It really is. And I've said it before on this podcast, and I'm going to say it again probably a million more times in the future, but I'm going to say it again right now. It's really sad when people die. It really is. Yeah, I think especially the older we get, the sadder it becomes. You know, the more time we have to spend with certain people in our lives, it makes it that much more difficult when they actually slip away and they're no longer here anymore. So, may my aunt rest in peace. I loved her more than anybody could really even say. She was like a second mother to me, really. My mother and her were very close. They were sisters. And my family and my aunt's family, my cousins, we spent a lot of time together over the past 50 years. And, you know, every Christmas, every Thanksgiving was either at our house or at their house. And we just had such a great relationship. Like, in many ways, you know, my mother was a mother to my cousins, and my aunt was a mother to us. And it's really, really, truly how it was. So, in a way, you know, it's kind of like losing my mom, you know, kind of. Not exactly, but kind of, you know. And it hurts. That hurts, you know. So, but we have to be able to, you know, move on, and we have to be able to carry on, and we have to be able to laugh, you know, and smile and have fun, you know. And you know, even though lately I've been feeling kind of blue, I'll admit, you know, the loss of Taylor Hawkins and the loss of my aunt, and a couple friends of mine got sick. You know, I've been kind of feeling a little down, and I don't like that. You know, I like to be happy and feel good and have fun. And so, you know, every once in a while I'll go on the hunt for like a Dave Chappelle video or something that will make me laugh, to kind of pull me out, you know. And it works. And I was watching just yesterday, actually, I was just watching a performance by Dave Chappelle, who I think is like an exceptional talent. I mean, the guy is probably, in my opinion, if you were to ask me, he's probably the greatest comedian that's ever lived. I mean, this guy is so good at what he does and how he does it. And he never fails to make me laugh, because he's really funny. He's not like SNL funny, where it's like, oh, what a goofy, silly idea, oh, that's kind of like funny. Yay. No, it's like this guy says things and does things that are really funny. They are well thought out, high level intelligence humor delivered in the most comical way. But anyway, the point is, the reason I'm talking about it is because it got me to thinking about that idea of being a funny person. Do you ever think about this? Like, when we laugh at something, it's usually something that's being done by someone else, like outside of us, outside of your body, outside of your person. You'll observe somebody doing something or saying something that makes you laugh. It gets a reaction from you that's really a very positive one. Laughter is a positive reaction to things. And isn't that strange? We may be the only creatures walking around on this planet that do actually laugh at things, like find humor in things. Think about that. Do you ever think about that? I usually don't, but watching Dave Chappelle and all that, I was kind of thinking about it. Like, isn't that strange? This idea of being a creature that laughs, that we have laughter, and how laughing is like good for your health. It's good for your body. It's good for your brain, like the ability to be able to laugh. And, I don't know about you guys, but, I like to laugh. I really do. I seek it. I try to find it because I need it. Laughing is just really a great thing to do. And, some people can't laugh. They don't find anything funny. They're so stuck in whatever mindset they're in that they don't even bother to laugh at anything anymore. I know a few people that are like that now, especially, in the post-COVID world. They just are humorless, Oh, what a tragedy, isn't it? Oh, it's just pathetic. How pathetic. And sad, to be walking around in this world and to be so hung up and so serious and so into your head that you can't laugh at anything anymore. Please, happy innovators, all of you, everybody who's listening to this podcast right now, please don't be like that. Don't be like that. No matter what you're going through in your life or what's going on or whatever, man, take the time to find humor and laughter in your life. You have to do it. It's one thing to starve from lack of food or water. It's a whole separate thing to starve from, peace and happiness and tranquility and humor and laughter and fun. Think about that. Because I do think about it. And isn't it amazing, really, to think about? That we laugh at what we see. We laugh at what we hear. Very seldom do we laugh at something we do, although that does happen quite a bit with me. I make mistakes all the time, or I'll do things all the time that are, that are laughable. It's just like, there's a saying, you either laugh or you cry. That's kind of the story of my life. Like, when things go wrong, or whatever, if things don't go the way you want, you can either laugh or you can cry. Well, I'll choose to laugh. I can laugh at myself. And so can my wife. It's part of the reason why I married her is because she can laugh at herself. And like me and, a lot of the people we know, she can really kind of appreciate a good rubber chicken every once in a while. You know, it's okay. It's okay to laugh, and it's okay to laugh at yourself, you know, for making an error or being silly or irrational or stupid. You know, it's okay. It's all right. It's part of life. But don't lose that. You know, don't lose that. And, the people I know that are humorless and they just can't laugh anymore, or they just don't, or they won't. Oh, it's so sad. You know, and a wasted potential, you know, really. Because life is rough and hard and difficult, but there's hope, and there's humor, and there's good things too. It's not all one thing all the time, you know. And I don't know, it's something to think about, and it's something I'm going to be thinking about for a while, you know, the ability to laugh. Anyway, my happy innovators, I can't talk too much longer today. I have a lot of things to get busy with, but I wanted to mention before I ended the podcast today that in the near future I'm going to be releasing some new music, the very near future. A while back, many years ago now, before I came up with the concept of PC3 and all that kind of stuff, I had a side project that I was doing that I called Diode, Dreams in Overdrive Eternal. That was the moniker, Diode, D-I-O-D-E. And they were basically, you know, what would become PC3 songs, okay? But they were very short pieces of music, like 3 minutes long or 4 minutes long, you know, normal length. But they were ambient pieces of music, and you know, a lot of them were recorded on my 4-track cassette recorder, you know, very early sketches. And you know, in the course of going back through my vault of material that I have, which is, you know, much more extensive than I remember it being, I found, you know, this collection of all these Diode music ideas, and I started to listen to it and everything, and it's kind of a cool thing, you know, I had forgotten about, and it exists. I made the music, you know, it exists, but I had forgotten about it. And what's even cooler is that as I started to go through these pieces of music and listen to what I had, I realized that a lot of these little short ideas were kind of like the jumping off point for future PC3 ideas. But I don't remember making that conscious choice, like I'm going to make this short little piece the longer PC3 version. I think I just did it like by osmosis, like naturally. But it was kind of like, in a lot of ways, like entertaining for me to listen to these tracks. So I'm going to be releasing the Diode tracks under the name PC3. It's going to be a full-length album, you know, about 15 songs. PC3 short songs, you know, and the title of the album will be Diodata, D-I-O-D-A-T-A, Diodata, and you could be looking for that very soon. And I thought that was cool and worth mentioning. And you'll be able to find, before too long, The Wrench and the Rubicon will be officially released. Let's see. And then that PC3 Diodata will be released. And I'm in the process now of recording 3 PC3 Honest Wave albums right now. I'm in that process. So you can be looking for some new music very soon, my happy innovators. And I can't, like I said, I can't talk much longer today, but hang in there and stay tuned. You know, keep your eye open for those album descriptions. I'm going to do an album description for the Pipe Choir debut CD. the PC1 Division album, the PC1 Wilderness album, the Pipe Choir Eskons album, the PC1 Eskons album, the Last Major Sin album, and the Wrench and the Rubicon album. I'm going to be doing album descriptions for all of those. So what is that, like 7? Yeah, I think that's like 7. Stay tuned for all that, my happy innovators. I'll talk to you laters. And remember, folks, if you want to keep what you've got to give it away. Take it easy, everybody. Hey there, happy innovators. Are you ready for some music today? I got a good one for you. You know, I had mentioned in the podcast that I was going through my vault, right? And finding all these old versions of songs and everything. So I figured in lieu of all that, and considering that this podcast will be, you know, considerably shorter than what I normally do, I'm going to give you 2 songs today. One is going to be a version, a very early version of the song Dream On, but with me drumming on it. Okay? I never released it. I forgot that I had done it, and I heard it, and it sounded pretty good. I also am going to share with you a version of the song I have called Ignite to Light, but it was before it was Ignite to Light. It was only called Ignite. And I don't know if you remember me telling the story ever. I'm not even sure if I have, honestly. But, you know, over the course of many, many years, I had done different versions of the song Ignite. And, you know, I changed lyrics, I changed the arrangement of the song, I added in different instrumentation, I subtracted instruments out, like I took the drums out, or, you know, I just messed with it for years and years. And the net result was I had written, really, 2 separate song ideas. Okay? So I had the same music, the same notes and everything, but I had different words and I had a different arrangement. One song was called Ignite, the other song was called Light to Light. So what I did for the Eskons album was I just mashed those 2 versions together into one song and called it Ignite to Light. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you, well, I guess now that I'm talking about it, what I'll do is I'll share the version of Dream On, the old version with drums on it, so you can hear that. I'll give you the old version of Ignite, and then maybe I'll share with you also that version of Light to Light, so you can hear that too. And maybe that'll make up for me only talking for, 30 minutes as opposed to like 50 minutes. So, does that sound fair? Does that sound cool? All right. So, here we go. Circa, man, I don't even know when these were recorded. I would say 2006 and maybe 2010. I recorded these versions. So, Dream On with drums, Ignite, and Light to Light by Pipe Choir. Check it out. Peace out. Be safe. Have fun. And don't forget to laugh. Make time to laugh, everybody. And if you need help with that, just type in Dave Chappelle. Watch anything by him because he's pretty damn funny. Anyway, peace out. Love you. Be safe. Talk to you later.